Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. I cannot believe it. Hold on. I can't believe this. I don't know what the words to describe this, but Yummy is back. Yummy is back. And not just back, ladies and gentlemen. They're back in their glorious forms. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Roll the video, man. Alrighty, guys, here we are in the deck profile, and as I mentioned, Yummy has gotten a superpower up, the likes you've never seen in your entire life. If you don't play Yummy right now, you're doing it wrong, because, ladies and gentlemen, Yummy Snatchy is unlimited. Yes, guys, Yummy Snatchy is at 3. Now, what does this mean? This means if you play Yummy, you can no longer get extra deck ripped by Cool Tune. Head in for Konami, ladies and gentlemen. Head in for Konami, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get extra hand rip from Kashtira. You could play under Shifter. You could play under Dimensional Fisher. You could play into Floodgates with the ability of having extra Yummy monsters in the extra deck. TCG, take a lesson out of Master Duel's book. So that's literally what this means, guys. What this means is you can no longer be floodgated on Yummy, because you have the perfect max amount of Yummies to go through Floodgates and Cool Tune extra deck hand rip, which is absolutely phenomenal, because Cool Tune was already your worst matchup, and now, brother, just send the Floodgate back to the extra deck, which you could do most of the time, and you'll be 1000% fine. Now, let's talk about what this creates, what kind of environment this creates. This means, guys, pure Yummy is the best way to play this deck. You cannot play any other engine, because what does Yummy allow us to do? Yummy allows us to play 20 other staples in the deck, as you could clearly see by this deck profile. We pretty much have every fucking hand trap underneath the sun. Like, that's why Yummy is so powerful, is because it can run 20 other hand traps and still be efficient enough to put on an end board that will screw over the opponent going second. That's why you need to play it purely, because once you start adding all these extra engines like Mitsurugi, like this and that, then the extra deck space has to be taken away from Yummy, and then Yummy becomes just as it was the previous patch notes. Because you guys gotta realize, they want you to play Yummy purely, and Yummy purely by itself can put up such massive end boards that it is pretty impossible to beat going first, and it has the potential to board break going second, because of all the hand traps and all the board breakers we have. Technically, we have Illusion Gate, we have Droplet, but we'll get to that in just a second. So what does this mean? Okay, what type of end board are we looking for? There are multiple end boards you could create, and I have 3 deck profiles for y'all to do. Like, this is so good. So the first deck profile is the most pure. It's just Yummies and the hand traps and the addition of the GOAT, Eldlich. Now, why is Eldlich in here? Eldlich is in here to facilitate some synchro synergy, because he's a level 10 and Yummy is a level 2. That means Eldlich allows you to go into the most powerful synchros in the game, the level 12 synchros. So that is going to be our end board here, for ladies and gentlemen, for this deck. But we could talk about Eldlich synergy and the other decks before we get into the other stuff. So right here, Eldlich synergy is pretty damn important. Here we add the additional Delta Invitation. I've talked about this card in nauseum, guys, how good this card is. Not only for Yummy, but obviously just for Eldlich and this Eldlich engine that we're playing. Now, in the other one, it's not there because Eldlich is more, like I said, he's facilitating the Synchro 12 requirement. Here, he's more of a utility, we either go Varudris, we either go Snake Eyes Vengeance, and then we let the Omni Negate board be through Yummy instead of through Eldlich. So the other version of the deck, the Omni Negate board is through Eldlich. Here it's through Yummy. So that's the only difference there. And then finally is my stream deck that we've been playing for a while now, and it's the Ancient Fairy Dragon package. This is just a pretty fun deck. You don't have to run this deck. I've been enjoying it, having a lot of fun with it. It has a lot of hidden text, and in the replays you'll see why Mercurium absolutely ties the package together with Eldlich. And so if you guys want to play the Delta of Invitation version and the other one, the 41, and obviously not with the Ancient Fairy, because I know that's just an acquired taste, play Mercurium, because Mercurium is a 1-card Yummy combo. Yes guys, Eldlich is a 1-card Yummy combo. You could have Eldlich either in the end board, in the mid game, or in the start of the combo. It's actually pretty phenomenal how many times Eldlich comes in clutch to save Yummy ass, and how many times Yummy comes in clutch to finish off what Eldlich has started. And that is the synergy between Yummy and Eldlich. But let's go back to the first deck, because this will be the main deck for sure, because it runs on pure Yummy. So let's talk about it, guys. So we have 2 Droll. Again, you get maximum so many hand traps you want. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 hand traps, ladies and gentlemen, and you can make them whatever you want. I will tell you why this is the correct hand traps to have, but this is how many hand traps you can fit in this deck. So if you want to fit in your favorite hand traps, maybe you like Bistros more, maybe DD Crow has served you better, whatever it may be, you could definitely you could add Shifter into this deck, and it actually will not be punishing you at all because of your purity. So if you want to play Shifter, you can now. Like, it is actually absolutely insane. Like, whoa, what do you mean you can play it through Shifter? I thought the whole point of playing Shifter is to counter Yummy. You literally can't. You literally can't. I have 3 Snatchies and 2 Cupsy Yummy Ways. You literally cannot counter me. It is actually absolutely phenomenal. Now, let's talk about the Yummy package. The Yummy package you guys want to run is the absolute maximum, because you need to guarantee that you always have 1 in the hand. If you don't have 1 or 2 in the hand, you pretty much lost the duel, because you will brick on your hand traps. That's the whole point, is with Yummy, is you're running all these hand traps. It's want to run max Yummy. I see the people make the mistake of when they use this deck, they cut Lollipop down to this, or even this. This is horrendous, guys. You'll never see Yummy ever, and you wonder why you always break. You have to run the max allowed of Yummy. On top of it, you want to run Puree map at least at 1, because your Cupsy, this is another way to get into Cupsy, right? Is Puree map. You don't want to run it at 3, because that means you have 4 Cupsies, and that is getting into over consistency. If you guys don't know about over consistency, it just means your deck starts bricking up on starters. Usually, like, your deck bricks on non-starters. When you're over consistent, your deck starts breaking apart on starters, because that's what over consistency is. So you don't want this. This has to be max at 2, because then you have 3 Cupsy Yummy Ways. You can't run this at 3, because then your deck becomes over consistent. Because what if you draw Cupsy Yummy Way in this? Because that's what you're making it do. So that's why at 1 of is absolutely perfect, because you're probably only going to see Cupsy Yummy Way or Puree map in your hand, and not the other way around. Now, what if you do, let's just say, somehow draw into Cupsy Yummy Way in Puree map? It's possible. You would add a hand trap to your hand. That's it. You would add a hand trap. First of all, bait and Ash, like if they want to Ash Puree map, be your guest. Secondly, if they didn't Ash Puree map, you just got a hand trap for free to go in the opponent's next turn. And that's what makes Yummy so powerful, is you don't have to search Cupsy Way if you drew it. Next, yes, max Lollipop package, guys. You cannot not have enough Yummies in this, because even with this, is pretty self-explanatory. Like, look, sometimes you're not drawing into the Yummies. And it is really important to draw into one Yummy, and that's what this package allows you to do. You're gonna almost most likely just have just the one Yummy. 2 Yummies is absolutely perfect. Like right here, this is absolutely perfect because 1 Yummy baits the hand trap, the other Yummy obviously turbos out and special summons from the hand, and you're able to continue your combo like nothing ever happened. Next, we have after Yummy, Maxi, pretty self-explanatory why it's in here. Ash Blossom, pretty self-explanatory why it's in here. Bell, pretty self-explanatory why it's in here. Perulia, pretty self-explanatory why it's in here. Fawalos, pretty self-explanatory why it's in here. Next is Eldlich, like we said, our M board through Immortal Dragon. Yummy is going to make Immortal Dragon pitch Eldlich. Eldlich is going to go into the Synchro 12s using Yummy. And the card that's going to facilitate that is Synchro Rumble. So this is our first brick. Our first brick in the deck is Synchro Rumble. And because it's going to have to special summon back an extra Yummy Synchro 2 from the grave. And that is the one thing about this deck that is not in the other decks, is you have to use Yummy Surprise on the opponent turns immediately because you have to special summon back a level 2. Because we're using up our level 2 to synchro into 12s. The other decks, obviously, since we don't synchro into 12s, we always have a Yummy on the field, a Yummy synchro 2 on the field, meaning you can still use the target effect for this card. 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Illusion Gate. This could be any board breaker of your choice. If you want it to be Feather Duster, be my guest. I just like Illusion Gate for all the FTK boards out there, just so like I can summon back their one of their Omni Negates. Next, you got Call by the Grave, the Yummy Field Spell. Why not run the other ones since we're running pure Yummy? Again, guys, you're running an extra brick, and on top of it, I don't understand people that run this Field Spell. Yummy already has built-in destruction, built-in bounces, and on top of it, they go into Omni Negates that negate and destroy. You do not need this extra brick to just get 1 extra pop. If you guys are running this, take this out of your deck. This card is useless. Do not run this with Yummy. This card, you do not need this extra brick or an extra pop. Your Yummy engine already does that, and most likely, most of the negates you're going into Yummy negate and destroy. I'm pretty sure the only negate that Yummy can make that does not destroy is Borlo Savage Dragon, but not in our deck. Our deck negates and destroys, so you do not want to run that. Heck, even Herald, the most basic Yummy Omni negate, negates and destroys that card. So you do not need to run that extra destruction because you're already destroying cards with Cookie, with your Omni negate, right? You do not need that extra destruction for the brick. Call by, pretty self-explanatory. Maxi and Fua hurt this deck a lot, even Perulia. If people run Perulia, that's why we run Perulia with cross out. If you want to, you could run Perulia once so it could be a cross out target. But we run it too just to also use it as a hand trap. I'm not gonna lie to you. Droplet going second is absolutely phenomenal. You absolutely shut down the opponent for turn, and sometimes you might draw Eldlich and might draw cards that you want to send to the graveyard. Imperm is here. I don't think Imperm is good, but the reason why Imperm is good in this deck is because we're running the all new Dominus card. Yes, guys, the only reason why you want to run Imperm is so you could buff your Dominus cards, because I've said this over and over on my stream. Why, if you're playing Ash by itself, you have to add Hydraulis so you could buff the Ash and buff the Hydraulis because they could work off of each other. Same conclusion is here. Imperm and Dominus work great off of each other because Dominus needs a trap in the graveyard to not go into the crappy effect or to buff its effects. So that's what Imperm does. Imperm is the quickest way to send a trap to the graveyard. So you're negating an opponent's monster, and this is the quickest way to send a trap to the graveyard, which would make Dominus Spark live. And this is the all new, guys, Yummy can banish. Yes, guys, Yummy can banish with the all new Dominus Spark. If you don't know what Dominus Spark does, is when an opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, you could activate this this card from the hand, target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it. Then if you have no traps in your graveyard, your opponent starts to summon 1 monster in their hand, and then if you activate this card from your hand, you cannot activate the effects of earth, water, fire, and wind, which is absolutely okay because all of our deck's monsters are lights and darks. Even the extra deck, guys, dark, dark, dark. The only guys that get hit by this is the other hand traps and Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. who are both are not that important, because why? With the hand traps, if you draw the spark and you draw the hand trap, you want to use the hand trap first, then spark, because obviously you don't want to run into that confliction. Secondly, for Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, his effect doesn't really matter that much. It does come in clutch here and there, but he's more to get you into the Omni level 12s through a Crimson Dragon. That's why he's in there for. So lastly, we have Eldlich of the Glorious Golden Land. The only reason why I'm running this trap is so this combo requires us to go into Solo Hat Rabbit. And special, this is not the best Eldlich trap. The best Eldlich trap is one of the Golden Lands. I love Hakuero because it dodges effects in the graveyard. So like when I run graveyard decks, I love to run Hakuero with them, because Hakuero can dodge those graveyard effects like Call By, like all of those. And secondly, what also it could you could go Conquistador of the Golden Land, which is obviously the most broken one, because you could just target one face-up card and then destroy it. But you don't even have to target, excuse me, you just destroy one card on the field. That's why it's broken. This card, the reason why it's here is for two reasons. It's synergy with Eldlich, obviously, so like it's an Eldlich trap. And then two, it's a level 10 trap. So basically, this allows us to go Crimson Dragon on the opponent's turn, copy a Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon and a Quasar Dragon, and then completely screw the opponent over, go Red Supernova Dragon, delete his entire board, and win the game. Basically, guys, if we go first and we go uninterrupted, we win the game. There is no way, no shot the opponent can even have a slither of a hope. Oh, excuse me. And when we go second, we ensure we have enough board breakers like Droplet, like Imperm, like Illusion Gate, to help out our yummies to make pushes. And then if it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. This deck probably has uninterrupted. You could probably win 100% of the time going first, and then like going second is probably, I would put it at a 75% win rate going second, which is absolutely phenomenal if you think about it in a best of one scenario. If you want to, like I said, you could go into a Super Poly and the other end boards with the Ancient Fairy Dragon and the blah 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 and the Delta of Invitation to increase your board break, your chances of grinding and going second. But this is the deck we're probably going to go for in today's stream. So if you guys are watching this video, I am currently live playing this deck over and over again in Master Duel Ranked. So if you want to see this in high potency, make sure you check out the stream today. But we're going to check out the replays of the Ancient Fairy Dragon version with Mercurium and show you why the synergy with Eldlich means so much to this deck. But before we get into that, I will show you how you could do this combo and what this combo, what it is. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I will show you the combo, then we will go over the replays with the Ancient Fairy Dragon version of this deck. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the solo mode. Now to show you this combo, by the way, this hand is absolutely asinine, right, of a hand. This hand can win you going first and second, but the whole point of this is to show you what this combo can look like. And now let's start off with what it means to have just one yummy in hand. So, special summon Marshmallow. Marshmallow is gonna go into the new all three link ones. So again, you do not have to run any link package with this deck. You do not have to run any normal summon package with this deck. It's over. You could run pure yummy. The game is telling you guys to run pure yummy. Anyways, we're gonna special summon that yummy back. And then we're gonna go into, this is where the pure yummy line changes from any other line. Remember guys, you have to go Lollipop first. Lollipop first always. Because Lollipop is gonna bring back the link 1 and the level 1. Because then you're at 2, discard 1 off a Cupsyway. You do not want to discard a yummy card. You actually want to discard another card in hand. So you are actually paying for cost in the pure version. Here we go. We're adding 2 yummy monsters. Obviously, when I add the one is going to get us the quick play spell and Cookie. And now you want to discard whichever card you don't think is worth it. In this combo, we're going to discard 2 cards. So you're going to be looking at like, oh, okay, do we want to discard Droplet? Do we want to discard Bell? In my opinion, in this combo, we'll probably discard both Imperm and Droplet because we are going first. Crop C is going to add the Quick Play spell. And a Special Summon Cookie. With this, you're going to go Starham, guys. Bring back a level 2 Synchro. So Starham is going to discard again. We're going to discard Droplet. We're going to bring back a level 2 Synchro. And all 3 of these guys are going to go into the Immortal Dragon. Immortal Dragon is then going to pitch Eldlich. So we're sending Eldlich here. Then we're going to use Yummy Surprise to bring back Marshmallow. And as you know, when we bring back Marshmallow through a surprise, Marshmallow brings back Surprise. And then we're going to go to these 2 and link them over for Solo Hat Rabbit. Solo Hat Rabbit is going to set the Eldlich Trap. It's going to be very important as an interruption going against the opponent. Then you're going to special summon Eldlich by sending away your Amusement Minion. Then you're going to special summon Eldlich. Through Eldlich, you're going to go with the Fallen Angel Kato, excuse me. There's no Flying Mary in this combo like it is in the other decks. So then you're going to go Crimson Dragon. This is a very important chain link, guys. I cannot say how important this chain link is, just in case they're saving their Ash for this part of the combo, because they are smart. They do not care about what you're trying to make. You're trying to Ash your end board. Chain link 1 Angel Kato all the time, because you need that Eldlich to come back no matter what. If they Ash Crimson Dragon here, it is not that important, because you could still substitute the special summon with Surprise. So you summon Eldlich, you go Synchro Rumble, get Yummy out, and then you go Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. Then you want to take out Crimson Dragon for shooting Quasar Dragon. Now you're like, Altair, what about Cosmic Blazar Dragon? Isn't he a more broken Omni Negate? You are correct. He is more broken, as he always recurs his Omni Negate by himself. But the issue is he's a wind attribute. So if we were to use Spark in our deck, we'd not, like, if we used it, we'd not be able to use the Omni Negate. So this is an Omni Negate we could use because he's a light monster and we could activate his effect. Now, what is the weakness of this deck? Because obviously every deck has a weakness, guys, no matter what. This board's biggest weakness is Super Poly. Yes, unfortunately, guys, all these guys share an attribute, which is light. So that is an immediate Mud Dragon on your monsters. Also, another interesting Super Poly target is you might run into if the person plays Snake Eyes Fiendsmith or Snake Eyes as Amina, and they do have Super Poly, they could actually Super Poly Silhouette Rabbit in Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon or Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, because that's a Snake Eye monster and an Illusion monster. This is the Illusion monster, and this is a Snake Eyes monster, which is a very interesting Super Poly target. So that is the deck's biggest weakness, is this deck right here, because what they could do is they could Super Poly for a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, target this, which would force the negate, and they just wiped your entire board immediately off of one Super Poly. So that is the deck's biggest weakness, guys, so watch out. Another weakness is, let's just say, if they're running just a normal Super Poly, they have so many ways to get rid of your negate through Silhouette plus this, and then when we special back Yummy, they could even take away this in Yummy, right? So be careful, guys. Super Poly is your biggest weakness. Next, you have Droplet. Droplet is actually not that big a weakness because you have too many monsters on the field By the time he sends all his cards, you could just special back Yummy through surprise and win the game by soloing Yummy. So drop play is actually not that good going into this deck. Any destruction effect is also not good going into this deck because you'll just go one for one with shooting Quasar Dragon. Harpy Feather Duster is not good because you do not need these anyways to continue playing the game. And then lastly, you could do this tech ability if you guys want to. What Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon can do is target a monster in the graveyard, and you could bring back Eldlich. And what you could do is you could replace Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon's effect with Eldlich effect. Let me explain how. I do this playing against Kultun. I send their monsters back because technically if he pushes them into the back row, it still counts as controlling that Kultun monster. We're using that same presence here. When Snake Eyes places Eldlich in the back row, this still counts as controlling Eldlich. And our trap clearly states when we special summon this, but we also control Eldlich the Golden Lord, we can return one monster from the field to the hand. We do control Eldlich the Golden Lord, so therefore we do satisfy this requirement. Meaning we add an extra interruption, techie interruption through Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon by targeting Eldlich on the field. It's absolutely phenomenal. Alrighty guys, here we are in the replay section, and like I said, I will be showing the Mercurium Ancient Fairy Dragon because this is the one I enjoy the most and I've been playing and I've been grinding with, and I think that deck is phenomenal. But obviously most people are going to turn it off because it has a lot of garnets, it has a lot of techie cards that you just gotta know the deck to function around them. So you'd rather just play with the try and true hand traps instead of with the pure Yummy. I understand it 1000%. I just enjoy this deck a lot and I will continue to be playing it. So let's hop into the replays right away and talk about this. Like I said guys, any Eldlich card is a Yummy card and any Yummy card is an Eldlich card, and it's absolutely phenomenal that the synergy this deck has. It just doesn't have as powerful as an end board like the one I showed you. So if you want to FTK your opponent for turn, you'd play that one. But if you want to grind with the opponent, you would play this one. So we go ahead and summon Regulus. And Regulus is so good, guys, because he is a light beast that's a level 4, which meets the Yummy requirement. You could also special summon a light beast from the hand. So we could bait with his effect and Ash. If they Ash it, we could then special summon the Yummy and then go full Yummy combo. But we get Jolt. We get Jolt. Now watch this synergy, guys. Watch this absolute synergy. So we said, so there were two ways we could have played this. Okay, we could have, unluckily, if we had one more spell that we could set, we could have gone 2 Omni negates because this is a monster negate with this guy face up on the field. But since he wasn't, we could have just gone 1 monster negate pass, and most likely would have lost the game off this Jolt, or we could have gotten full Yummy combo with shutting down all dark and light effects in the graveyard. And this is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We bring Eldlich back, take away that Omni trap, we special summon Eldlich. That's going to activate Delta of Invitation with Fallen of Angel Claudio. This is 2 zombie monsters. This is Flying Mary. We then go Flying Mary, bring back our Eldlich, but the Angel Claudio is going to go first to special summon from the extra deck. Flying Mary, bring back the Eldlich. And then we're gonna link summon into the Yummy Snatchy. And that's the Yummy jump scare we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. He is a light level 4 beast, which equals Yummy Snatchy. Now you might be wondering, whoa. I'll say, how the hell are you gonna get to Yummy? You have no Yummies in hand, no Yummies in the graveyard. Interesting you ask, ladies and gentlemen, because the way we're going to do that is through Mercurium. And Mercurium is going to go ahead and attach Dotscaper. And then we're going to pass our turn. You're like, well, you still have no Yummy. How are you passing your turn? Because in the end phase, ladies and gentlemen, we have to detach for cost. And detaching for cost counts technically as an effect. So this goes off if this card is sent to the graveyard. Dotscaper is going to come back. And we now have, ladies and gentlemen, a Link 1 and a level 1. And you know Yummy Snatchy can quick synchro into their own cards. So now we're floodgating the graveyard. He cannot activate any light, any dark effects, because we have a light and a dark in the graveyard. Secondly, we have a Yummy. So let's see how this works out for him. So he goes Shining Sarcophagus, and I automatically laughed because I knew he would be losing this game. Why? Because he cannot activate darks in that grave, guys. He literally cannot activate darks in the grave, and as long as I out Gandora, I am pretty much set to win this game. So as soon as he activates Gold Sark, I immediately activate Yummy because I need to get my Yummy engine rolling. Because I want to get Cookie on the field as soon as possible, and the only way to do that is through Cupsy Yummy Way. So Cupsy Yummy Way is going to add 2 cards. I'm going to add Cookie, and I'm going to add Cupsy, but I'm going to pitch Cookie because I want to special summon it back off a Yummy Way. So here we are. We max C before he special summons Gandora, but he has Call by the Grave, which is absolutely fine. We get rid of a Call by the Grave that doesn't hit our Yummy. So now he goes Gandora. Gandora is going to be able to be stopped through the Yummy line. We special summon Yummy Snatchy. And then we special summon Cookie, who's a pop. So we're going to pop him, but he's going to droplet us. He's going to droplet us, and now it goes back to saying you have too many monsters on the field. So his droplet, he actually had to choose which monster to negate. Is he going to negate the pop, meaning he can't get rid of my monsters and possibly not win the game? Is he going to negate the quick synchro, meaning he is not going to negate the floodgate and not going to negate the pop, so I still win the game regardless? Or is he going to negate the floodgate, but I'm still going to able to quick synchro this entire time with whatever cards he has left in hand? That's why I'm saying droplet does not hurt this deck as much as these guys think, because we have too many monsters on the field. So now he has to make a decision. Does he send his entire hand to stop everybody but still lose because he sent his entire hand, or send that one card? So he sends Orcus, which that just tells me, ladies and gentlemen, he's on Orcus Dark Magician, so he has to negate Mercurium. And he negates Cookie. He negates Cookie. It is the most obvious blunder I've ever seen, because I don't only can stop Gandora through Cookie, I could also stop him through the other Cookie Yummy Way. So I come in with Cookie Yummy Way, I flip this face down, and it's game over. Nada, because he can't activate darks in the graveyard, because that's what Orcus want. Orcus want to activate their effects in the graveyard. You shut down the Orcus line completely, guys, and you shut down the board breaker through Gandora. And we did this all under Droll. He drolled us. We couldn't even go to our end board. He drolled us, and we absolutely annihilated everything that he had in hand. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This time we're going second, and so what is our deck gonna look like going second? So first things first, we try to full up the ashes. It's all good. This means our Deathless Invitation and our Wardle Spirits will work on our own turn, because he does not have ash to use against them. So it turns out we're actually playing into Dragon Links. So he's gonna go ahead and summon Dragon Links, and I'm gonna skip through this combo, guys, because this combo takes way too long, and you already know the end board. It's gonna be 3 Omni Negates, all the Borreload monsters, and that's what we had to deal with. Basically a Dragon FTK going second. And the reason why we're able to push through this insane end board is our deck constantly adds cards, and our cards love to be in the graveyard. So our droplet is not only gonna, 1, get more cards, 2, our cards love being in the graveyard. So that's a double plus for our droplet. That's why droplet works on our deck better than other people's decks. So here we are. It's gonna get Borderland Dragon on the field. It's gonna get another one, I think, here. Yep, Borrel Shroud. It's gonna target that to summon a Borrel Savage. And it's gonna have 3 counters, guys, so you can't even attack over him if you wanted to. And then you're gonna have this for him to destroy over. So we draw a second droplet, which is, you might be like, ah, that's a terrible draw. It's actually completely fine because we have more fodder for our droplet. So now, how do we play this? We have to absolutely avoid using Delta of Invitation. And the reason why we absolutely have to avoid using Delta of Invitation is because Delta of Invitation is going to lead us back to Yummy through Mercurium. So I want him to believe that he's negating the Yummy line, spend all his resources on Yummy, thinking I'm going to do something with it, only to come around and do a 360 through Eldlich, through Yummy, to kill him. And that's why I don't droplet right away, because I need more cards. I need more cards for not only Delta, but I need more cards for droplet. So that's why I do this. So I normal summon him. Now he has to make a decision. Do you negate this? Which if you do, it's a terrible negate. You're just wasting your time and energy on this. Now keep in mind, these guys have a non-respond clause to them. So I cannot respond to any of these when he activates their effect. So he negates Regulus. You're like, ah, that's cool. Then, this is the very key step. We go Yummy Snatchy. But, what's very key here, guys, is you do not activate its effect to set the field spell, because once you do that, you lose. Dude, since we're going to come back around to Yummy, we have the 3 Yummies, remember, so we're going to come back around to Yummy. We don't have an issue doing that. We need that field spell to OTK for turn once we come back to Yummy. So that's why we don't use its effect. We instead use the effect of Cupsy, which also turns on his other negate. Okay, so we're negated twice. We're going to go into Synchro. And this is the checkmate. A lot of people don't do this on Yummy for some reason. But guys, Cookie Yummy way, it's not only amazing going first, it's amazing going second. Because this forces an interruption right off the bat. It's going to force his border load, and it's going to force whatever thing he has left. By the way, I still have Droplet in hand. So I target these 2 monsters, so I completely out his board. And it turns out he has a Droplet of his own. And I'm like, this is checkmate right here, guys, because I'm going to use my own Droplet. Because I knew he would send a monster. He's not going to send a spell. Why would he send a spell, right? Because he would not think I would have Droplet in hand. But GG's, you are going to get board broken. This means my cookie will go off. And this extra Droplet that was a brick is going to be very consequential with us doing our Eldlich line. So we're going to special summon Eldlich. We're going to then activate Delta Invitation. That's 2 zombies on the field. We're going to go Fallen of Angel Kato. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Fallen of Angel Kato is pretty simple. It's going to go into Flying Mary. Fallen of Angel Kato is going to activate to get Eldlich to Mad Golden Lord. Flying Mary is going to grab the other Eldlich. And this is the secret Flying Mary effect going second. I get an extra pop. So I target my Eldlich and I pop that Borolo Dragon. Then we go into Mercurium. In the EMZ, this is very important because we're trying to play on our own turn, not wait. On the draw, we waited on the opponent's end phase to play the game with Yummy. This, we obviously just have to OTK for turn. That's why we Gravity Controller our Mercurium. Doscaper comes out. That's a link 1. That's a level 1. We also get a draw 1 because of Regulus, which we draw into Ash, which is absolutely phenomenal. But we go Lollipop. Lollipop, what is Lollipop going to do is going to bring back our link 1 and our Cupsy. Because we already had sent them to Grave. And then we're going to go into Yummy Way. Add 2, discard 1. And this is where the fat lady sings, ladies and gentlemen, because we lower his attack even further. And then we go into the link 1. And you guessed it, guys. The link 1 is going to activate the field spell to boost all of our attacks and to grab 1 extra Yummy from the field. And we go battle phase here. and we absolutely shred him here for turn. And that is the reason why we don't play Super Dreadnought in here. We play Mercurium instead, because Yami by itself is already proficient in OTKing for turn. We do not need Eldlich to OTK here. What we need for him is to come back into the Yami OTK. So that's why Mercurium is better than Super Dreadnought. Also, Super Dreadnought needs 2 monsters, while Mercurium is 1 monster by himself. So, and also Mercurium gives us the additional gravity controller that we could use on other monsters. To continue our Yummy combo. So here we are. We draw into unfortunately a handful amount of bricks, but we foolish burial Dotskip prefers to bait an Ashar Rebel before we go into Yummy. But it turns out he didn't have any. What it turns out he did have was the coveted. There we go, you'll see it. Ah, the droll. Which is completely fine, ladies and gentlemen, because as long as we get to Ancient Fairy Dragon, our Eternal Sunshine becomes live. So this break turns into a negate. And all we have to do is go into Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch is going to go into a level 7. But first, we're going to go into a Yummy Snatchy. So that we could go into Lollipo, so we could have not only Yummy line, but also the negate line. So Lollipo is going to bring the Yummy back. And then we're going to go Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon, we will pop the field spot because we get extra life. We might as well. We're not going to get the ad, unfortunately, but you know, we get an extra 1,000 life points, so we might as well do it. And look at that, guys. Under Droll, we have a full Yummy line, which can solo. Like I said, I've been saying this. Yummy lines always solo half of that cards in hand. And then a negate for insurance. So he draws full Wallows for turn. Or he had full Wallows. But... And look at that. He's going to use Future Sonus. So this is starting to look like that one dude that drove us and went into Dark Magician. You already know what's going to happen. So we're going to solo the entire Dark Magician line with Yummy. And we're going to save the negate for whenever he uses his actual engine. What you guys got to realize most of the time is, guys, this Dark Magician engine is mostly gas. They're not really using it as their real engine. And this is the telltale sign when I knew it wasn't their engine. When he discarded Branded in High Spirits, I already automatically knew I had to reserve my Cookie Yummy Way for Ecclesia and my negate for Albaz, and I would win the game. And all I have to do is out Gandora with Cookie. So here we go. This, of course, is going to be very predictable. Add Shining Sark. Shining Sark is going to add Gandora. Very predictable stuff. He's going to special summon Gandora. And once he does that, we activate Yummy. Now, the only issue here that I ran is a little bit of a miscalculation. So what I initially wanted is just to pop this Safe Cookie for the Albaz line, right? The flip for the Ecclesia. But I forgot that when you activate a spell with a dark with a spellcaster, with a dark spellcaster, that's an additional line. So I actually did have to pop his Dark Magician Girl, which is very unfortunate. And obviously he has to pay for costs, guys, but we are not a negate, so we have to go right away. We can't wait for him to pay for cost. So Cookie is gonna pop him so he doesn't go into Dark Magician. This is gonna flip that. And he draws into a Kaiju, which is completely fine, but look at that. I knew he had a normal summon up his sleeve, and it was Albaz, and guess what we saved our negate for? Eternal Sunshine, go ahead. Basically, you guys don't know why Eternal Sunshine dies. It's a droplet effect. So it's a droplet if you control an Ancient Fairy Dragon. And Yeah, he should not have discarded Branded in High Spirits because one, it told me he was not playing Dark Magician. Guys, when you're discarding cost for Dark Magician, he should have saved that for Wallows. Because that full Wallows did nothing for him at all. Like, I don't know, but draw him a Kaiju, which who cares? Like, I already used Cookie. Like, I don't use Yummy anymore. But he needed to discard for Wallows, and then once he discarded for Wallows, that's when he gets into the branded line. Well, there you guys have it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching today's video. If you have, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.